So we're good to go, Aaron. Well, I wouldn't be episode number 40 of the Higher Training Podcast without me saying boom. And we're live. Featuring Chloe Shah, who is a fellow online coach. She helps women get strong as fuck, helps them with the relationship with food, and she was also a one-to-one client of mine and a member of the Ladies Lifting Club for a fair while, lifting weights, doing zerters, making all the people in the gym turn their necks because she's doing all quite sorts of exercises that I'd be programming. Thank you for doing the podcast and coming all the way down here.
No bother at all.
Boom. There I said boom again. I said I wasn't going to fucking say it. But you're in the same game as mine, and you work with kind of similar people as I would. We both help ladies. You're a little bit younger in the coaching game than I am. Obviously then you're going to have different perspectives of things than I will, but I think, and I said to you before, that like for somebody so young in the game, you're pretty far ahead of a lot of people that I see, and you're going at things with a bit more honesty and integrity. And we were chatting earlier when we were having a sneaky pint in Chara about, you know, the industry in general and some of the methods less savoury that certain people use. That's the context for people. Now I'm going to go straight in and throw you a little bit under the bus and start asking questions because this is our first podcast. But what areas do you think you help the girls you coach with the most? Like what do you think is your speciality thus far in your coaching?
Yeah, so like the reason I got into coaching was mainly for mental health. So when girls come to get coached by me, a lot of the results they want are like fat loss based, or they just want to get in and train and learn how to lift things and stuff like that, get a little bit stronger. But it's mainly like, I want to get stronger, I want to tone up, I want to be more fit, and I want to lose a little bit of weight. I always say, like, yeah, even if the goal is fat loss, if your mental health is suffering at one stage, we'll always put that first. But yeah, I'd say the main thing is probably fat loss, and then just doing the basics in the gym, getting strong, and yeah, just learning how to do things properly and building a bit of muscle as well.
Boom. Now, when you get a new girl signing up to you, what is the usual thing that they will come to you, or the problem that come with you? You said fat loss, but what are the exact words that they may say to you when they're signing up for coaching first?
So I wouldn't know exact words, but like when I get people on a call, like it's usually like they've been suffering for a while when it does come to fat loss. They've tried loads of different diets, fad diets, especially Slimming World. I think nearly all of them, probably 98% of them, have gone through Slimming World and stuff like that, and it's just really bad. Their relationship with food is bad, like the way they think about food and stuff like that is just they struggle with all of that. And I don't really know the exact words that they come to me, but it's usually just they want to lose a bit of weight, they want to tone up, and yeah, they just don't know where to start.
When you get met with that initial, right, I want to tone up, I want to lose weight, do you find it hard to get them sold onto the more long-term approach? Do you find that they're more thinking short-term, I want to get this, you know, I have an end point that I want to get to in this certain amount of time? Yeah,
definitely. So like you'd have them, you know, you sign them up, you tell them kind of how your process works, and then you go through like the onboarding process, whatever. And then when you're going through it, I'm like, always me, WhatsApp's open if you want to ask any questions over the next few days. I'll be sending you emails and stuff like that. They're always like, oh, will I be on a meal plan? When are you sending me your meal plan? And stuff like that. And then I explain again, like, how my process works, and that it's going to be like about sustainability long term, and that I don't do short term fixes. Basically, like, I don't do these 6-week diets where you're going to lose 10 kg and you're going to go on your holiday and look amazing in 6 weeks time. Like, it's all about sustainability and how you can do this for life. Basically, you want to lose the weight and you want to be able to maintain it afterwards, and you want to do it in a healthy way where you can still enjoy your weekends, have a few drinks, go out for dinner with your family without feeling guilty and having all this mad feelings after the weekend because you didn't follow a meal plan, basically. But yeah, I guess they are kind of like, they understand and they agree with me that, yeah, they understand, yeah, I do want to have this long term. I've tried other fad diets and they didn't work, and they want to get out of that yo-yo cycle. So yeah.
You hit the nail on the head there with the yo-yo cycle. And I would have been a bad man for being well stuck in the yo-yo cycle back whenever I first got into the gym. Probably for the first 4 or 5 years, probably I was cutting, and then I was bulking, and then I was not training for 6 months, and then it was always, right, I have a holiday coming up, I want to get in shape for that. It takes a while to get out of that cycle. Once you get out of that cycle, then that's when the real progress and the real fucking gains actually come.
100%.
Would you say you came from a similar thing where you were kind of maybe not yo-yoing but on off, or no?
Not at all. Like I always say, like, I never struggled with me weight when I was younger. I never struggled with losing weight or anything like that. To be honest, I was the opposite end of the scale. I struggled putting on weight. I was always really, really skinny growing up, even as a teenager and stuff. And as I said to you, like, we worked with each other to help me build muscle and to put on a bit of weight as well. And like, that's only up to, the last year or so that I've actually put on a bit of weight. Obviously, naturally you put on weight over the last few years, but like, I was still super skinny, I think, when I came to you. But I was able to build that little bit of muscle, put on that bit of weight, and actually keep it on as well, even though I've been in and out of training over the last few months. But no, I never struggled with yo-yo dieting myself. I've just experienced it through my clients, really.
But you would have played sports growing up, would you?
Yeah, I played sports. I played GAA and stuff. I was a real tomboy growing up. I played gaff in school since I was a kid until I finished school. Never really played for teams. Like, I come from a family of 7. I'm the youngest. And I did get asked by teams, like managers and stuff, when I was doing school games to join teams. But, like, just didn't have time. Like, I would have had to get lifts down and stuff. So I just stuck to the school sports. And then when I finished school, I kind of just went into restaurants and stuff like that. And I built up my career there. And I didn't train. I didn't play sports. Only up until about 4 years ago after my mum passed, I got back into it. Like, but yeah, I was mad for football and sports when I was younger, mad for running around.
Do you think that helped you kind of adapt to like training in the gym and learn new skills a little bit?
Yeah, I think I had it in me naturally already. Like, I was always kind of good at sports growing up, so I think some people have it naturally and some people have to work a little bit harder. But yeah, I think it kind of came back to me, like muscle memory and all that.
I find when you get somebody coming to you for coaching who hasn't really trained before, who hasn't played a sport before, it's pretty tough getting into just training in general, learning the skills, and people get really frustrated at not being good at stuff straight away. And then especially when they see somebody else who mightn't have been into weight training, but they would have maybe played a sport or played sport all their life, and they just take to it like a duck to water. I always find that hard to manage. More so, my end of things, I have classes, the 6 people per class. You might get somebody starting completely new and they're fucking banging out ridiculous weight on day one, just because they've played sport, they've built up abilities in other ways, not just from lifting weights. But do you find that hard whenever you're working with somebody who hasn't trained that much to just reassure them?
Yeah, 100%. So, like, obviously I'm fully online now, but when I was doing the in-person, or like, so when I started, I was doing class-based gym, like what you're doing now, but in someone else's gym, and it was like 6 or 8 people in each class, and it was like that. You'd adapt the program to whatever level they're at, like, and then they'd be like looking at everyone, you know, lifting mad heavy around them, and you could see they felt a little bit intimidated by them, but you always just reassured them, like, everyone starts somewhere, and these people have been training for years now, or they played sports or whatever. And on the online, it's a little bit different because they're not training with your other clients. They see videos and stuff. I put videos in the group chat and stuff like that, but I don't see it as much. Like, and I do reassure them at the start. It's part of my onboarding, is like, I let them know at the start, I'll keep everything kind of basic so that you can learn the basics first. And it might feel a little bit boring at the start, a little bit repetitive, but that's just because they're complete beginners and they have to learn it from the bottom up. And yeah, they're not going to be able to lift. They might not be able to lift as heavy as a person in the video that's been lifting for the past 3, 4, 5 years. And yeah, you just have to keep reassuring them, but you don't get it as much online as you would in person. I think when I was working in Fly Fit, I used to do like 2-to-1, 3-to-1. I didn't really do many 1-to-1s because I just think it's a bit of a better crack to do with a couple of people. And I got that a little bit with girls coming in. I only trained girls back then as well, and girls would be coming in and they'd be doing sessions with 1 or 2 other people, and maybe they'd be a little bit more advanced and they would feel a little bit more intimidated. We just give them that little bit more time and reassure them and tell them that they started a little bit before them, they're doing it, say they were doing it 8 months and this person's only starting or whatever, and that they've got that far in 8 months, and it gives them a bit of a push as well to keep going. Yeah,
I think people as well, even with the food side of things, like although people wouldn't look at like cooking as a skill, or like just the concept of, right, how do I plan my week and fit food in around it, that's a skill as well.
100%.
Like that takes practice, and it takes a bit of guidance as well. That's where me and you would particularly agree with the meal plans not being too great, because that doesn't really give you those tools or skills. It just gives you literally a black and white sheet of paper that this is what you should eat, and anything else from that is basically not your meal plan, so it's shit.
100%,
like that's kind of the way a lot of people take it. But when it comes to the relationship with food end of things, as someone who would have had an awful relationship with food from fucking eating broccoli and salmon for breakfast, not by choice, this is what was suggested to me by the person who was I wouldn't say coaching, I would say giving me a training program at the time. What common kind of things you hear the girls say when it comes to the relationship with food that like you're like, right, no, we need to do a little bit of work here?
Yeah, so like obviously when they're labelling foods good and bad, and then they say things like, oh, I've been eating really clean and stuff like that, I really don't like them terms, because like there's no point to putting labels on food at the end of the day. You need to be able to look at your diet as a balance overall, eat the foods that you love. 80% of the time, yeah, you should be eating whole foods, vegetables, protein and all, but the other 20% of the time you should be allowed to have your meal out, your takeaway. And that's kind of what my whole coaching approach is to get the girls living a balanced lifestyle, balanced diet that fits into their routine, their lifestyle, and not actually getting them and trying to fit them into a diet that doesn't work for them. But yeah, you still hear them even after coaching them for 6 months or whatever, they'd still be saying them phrases every now and again. But if you hear them saying it, obviously you always just reassure them again, yeah, you know, you're allowed, you shouldn't feel guilty for having that chocolate bar last night. That doesn't mean you're not clean eating. What the hell is clean eating at the end of the day? That's just a term made for marketing. Like I guess sorry.
Here's the first
stutter.
one.
That's the first stutter. We got, how long did we get in there without a stutter?
We did a while.
But yeah, they're kind of the main things. And then also people come from slimming world, obviously they call food sins and stuff like that, which is absolutely ridiculous. And that's like, I don't know, a sin comes from religion. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you're doing something bad.
We're not going to talk about religion
today. You're doing something bad, like. And I do think that's ridiculous, because some of the foods, it's like if a banana is whole, it's good, but if you mash the banana, it's bad. Things like that. And like if you're doing slimming world on and off, that's the way you're going to think about food as well. So it takes time to come out with that, and you have to reassure people that it's going to take more than 8 weeks to change your mindset and how you approach this diet. And you need to approach it with a positive mindset as well. When you're going into like a fat loss phase or a gaining phase, you need to be approaching that with the mindset of that you're doing it because you love your body and not because you fucking hate yourself.
That's an important thing to always keep in mind. And I think when you start looking at food as a way to nourish your body and to give you energy, give you the fucking pizzazz that you need to get through the day or to get through a session, or you know, one thing you said there about doing it because like you're doing it for the good of yourself, not just for that end point of like my body's gonna look like this for a wee picture for like, and maybe for a few weeks.
100%.
It's a hard sell, but I think that is actually the perspective that is actually gonna help people get that ideal body they want. You know, I'm a big believer in reverse engineering. Like if you do have body composition goals, just like it's like you're painting the wall. If you just sit and look at the paint dry, you're gonna get fucking bored. You're not gonna fucking sit there and do that. Actually, that was a terrible metaphor, but anyway.
I don't know where you're going with this.
I have no idea where I was going with that metaphor, but you're not supposed to fucking laugh from behind the camera, laddie.
No, I know what you mean though. I do know what you mean. And like a lot of coaches would use that as a push for people. Oh, think about the end goal. No, you need to know how to enjoy the process as well. And like if you're just constantly thinking about that end goal and you're not hitting it every single week, it's just going to put you down. And then you're going to go back into the cycle of, well, if I'm not fucking hitting my goal, I'm just going to eat all of this shit now and I don't care. and then you're going to feel shit on Monday because you're after doing that on the weekend, instead of having a balanced week where you're like, oh well, I can have this Monday to Friday, but I can also do this on the weekend if I want, because I've like, not that I've been good, but you're going by that 80-20 rule again, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I do think always, that's what a lot of coaches do online, and I'm not putting them down. Like, it obviously works for some people. I just don't really agree with it. It's always like, always think of that end goal. But what if something happens in your life and then you can't do that end goal, or someone dies and you're going through loads of depression? Then you're going to feel more shit because you didn't get to that end goal. Whereas I think focusing on the process and celebrating all of your wins and all of your progress week by week, day by day, whether it's gym, whether it's body composition, whether it's you lost some weight, whether it's you put some weight on, anything, you got a few more steps in this week than you did last week. Focus on all of your wins and the positives rather than just focusing on the one thing, which is the end goal picture, which is ridiculous.
I'm moving away from that whole idea of like a concrete end goal, like an end point, because what is the end point? You're gonna die. Is that the end point? Because that's the only real end point is the day you die. Like, so I think it's silly. I'm thinking more that like having a more abstract kind of end point. It's hard sell to other people, but I think like for myself, I don't have an end goal when it comes to jiu-jitsu. I know that like I want to get better at it, and I'm enjoying the process of getting better. Simple as that's it. It's a more an abstract thing. It's not concrete.
100%.
Although people love having concrete things that and data and stats to work towards, because they think that it's going to make it more likely that you're going to make progress.
100%. And look, it is good to have little goals to work towards, and like week by week, like even if they're just so small, like I did 5k steps a day last week. This week I'm going to try hit 5 or 6. Little things like that, they are good to work towards because they're part of the process and it's helping you build healthy habits. But yeah, I don't think you need to always, like, people are always asking me, what are you working towards now? And to be honest, I'm working towards fuck all because I've been enjoying my summer and I haven't been training consistently. Now I've still been training, I just haven't been doing it every single week consistently, the exact same program, exact same training.
Your goal's been to enjoy life.
Enjoy life, exactly. And sometimes it's just about getting a workout here now and again rather than calling it training. Sometimes I'm just getting workouts in and that's grand. And right now my goal right now is to just try get consistent again, get into the gym 3 days a week, then I'm going to start doing running again. But the goal for me is to not try to overwhelm myself with loads of things, so that's why I'm starting off with just 3 days consistently and I'll build up from there. But right now I have no end goal. I don't have a goal of I want to look great for a photo shoot in 6 weeks. I don't have a goal of a holiday. I've never worked for a body for a holiday. I've never worked for a body for a photo. I've never been that type of person. I actually enjoy life a little bit too much to ever do that. Fair play to anyone who can do those type of things, but it's just not me. I like having a drink. I like me food. I like having a few joints. Like, I just wouldn't be able to commit to a strict plan like that. It just wouldn't fit into my lifestyle. But fair play to anyone who can do it, but it's just not my approach.
One thing I find about a lot of these things, people, not the shitting people doing all these transformations and all that. I've done multiple transformations back in the day. I've had to learn the hard way. I had to fuck around and find out. And you think that's what you want, that you want that to look that certain way. You think you want that photo to have, but like at the end of the day, it's just a photo. At the end of the day, that body's gonna slowly change back because you're not gonna keep up with the same habits, the extreme habits that got you to that point.
Yeah, when it was extreme, like, and I've seen your one and I've seen you talk about it, and I do think it's good, especially for men to come out and talk about it, because you don't see that a lot, men coming out and talking about it. You do see on Instagram a lot of men with 6-packs and they're completely shredded, but like, yeah, you need to know the process they went through to get there, and I don't just mean the physical process, like the mental process.
I was a boring bastard, and like in terms of like, oh yeah, I'll go out and have a drink with the boys, twisted after 4 drinks just because the body fat level was that low, making shows of myself as if I'm not bad enough as it is. Worse shows of myself. But yeah, on that, like, I actually seen a great post, and we were speaking about earlier. Shannon B is doing a lot of work about body image, but particularly about men. And like, the funny thing is, a lot of men would say they're probably, single men mostly, would say that they're doing a lot of the work because they make them more attractive to the opposite sex. but the standards that them lads are probably setting themselves to aren't even something that the girls would be like. It's probably more extreme than what women
It's all
would
in
see.
their head. They're overthinking it at the end of the day. Like,
I think lads just want to like look big for other lads to tell them.
yeah. They say it's all to do with women, but women aren't really out there. Like when you're out, you have a t-shirt on or a jumper. You can't see what's underneath that t-shirt. If someone's talking to you, it's not because of what you have underneath your t-shirt. At the end of the day, and I don't think men go out with no tops on. Well, sometimes they do. When the sun's out, the guns are out. But when they're going out to the pub, like, you know what I mean? Like if a girl's talking to you, it's not because what's under your fucking top. At the end of the day, it's probably because you're sound. At the end of the day, like,
yeah, you probably should go and just talk to more women instead of trying to take a load of steroids and get massive.
Yeah, 100%. And like, yeah, that's just it's a whole thing. Like, there is people out there who do want to do that, and fair play to them. Like, I have nothing against it. Like, it's just not my thing. It's not my thing. Like, I have mates who have done it, and I'm like, fucking fair play to you, but I just wouldn't be able to do it. And to be honest, I've no interest in ever going through that phase. And people are like, it teaches you discipline, teaches you this. Fuck discipline, fuck that. I'm living my life. I'm living my life the way I want. I don't fucking need any more discipline. I'm not in school anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Discipline can get fucked. I actually hate that word. How do you define discipline?
I don't
How do you define discipline?
Oh, you're disciplined because you can follow some chicken and rice diet of a lunchbox and have your Cocoa Pops once a week. No thanks.
That's the sort of eating, mate. I've having loads of thoughts going around in my head when I seen lots of people talk about discipline lately, because I know myself, I have never committed to anything as much as I have for my Achilles rehab. And that's not because I'm disciplined. It's because of the sheer will for me to be able to actually do stuff that I did previously. Yeah. Because if I didn't go at it as hard, I almost said if I wasn't as disciplined. If I didn't go at it that hard and stay as committed to the process the whole way through, then there's a chance that I mightn't be able to run as fast as I did before or jump to the same heights.
100%.
There's people that have had my injury that 2 years down the line, they still can't walk for long periods of time without it like annoying them. And like, that's playing in my head. That's the reason. It's not that I'm disciplined. It's I have a good reason to get up and do that shit every day. 100%.
You want to be able to move the way you were before. And like, I've always said it to you, like, I love watching your like process videos of like your rehabilitation of your injury. It's unreal. And I send it on to my clients when they get a small injury and they're like, I can't train at all. And I'm like, yeah, but you can. That's just your knee, or that's just your ankle. What about the rest of your body? What about upper body? And I send them over things that they can do, but they just don't want to do it. But like, when you send them over things like that, I'm sure they watch it and they're like, what the fuck, how is he able to do that? Like you were doing
they're probably thinking this man's a lunatic. That's probably the
what's
usual.
What's it called? Larson bench press?
Larson press with the legs
straight. Man, like you were going, you got up to 100 on that and all, which you weren't able to fucking walk, crawling up the stairs and all, but you're able to do that. Things like that, I'm like, that just gives you motivation to get to the fucking gym and shut the fuck up. Do you know what I mean?
You take a leg, I've got another leg and 2 arms.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of people, like, you know, you'd get a small injury and be like, I can't train, I can't do this, I can't go for a walk. And I do get the mental side of it, maybe to get a little bit depressed, but like, and I do get that, but like, you have to think, well, no, you actually, if you go in and you do a little bit of upper body, whether even if it's just 20 minutes of training, like if you love the gym and you're letting that injury get in front of you, like get in the way of going to the gym, you don't need to be working towards anything. Do it for your head. It's going to make you feel better if you go in and do a 20-minute workout upper body, even if you can't train your legs. It's going to make you feel better mentally, rather than sitting in your bed watching Netflix and like, look, I've done it. I've never had any injury, touch wood, but I've done it when I'm sick and everything like that, and I've like done it when I've got into depressive states and I've sat in bed and, you know, you're just sitting there in your own sadness and it's just making it worse sitting in bed. Like, even if you just get up out of bed to have a shower, it makes you feel 5% better than you were when you were in bed. So I do think, like, if you have an injury, follow Darren, look at his videos and make it give you some motivation to get you into the gym and do a bit of upper body if you have a lower body injury, or vice versa.
Maybe so. Or the way I would take it as well is maybe have a little sit down with yourself and figure out what you can do that you're actually going to want to get up and do. You know, I'm lucky that I have plenty of mates and that are coaches that have got injured and stuff. One of them in particular, Keane O'Brien, turned around to me and we were chatting like late. We went for half an hour just going deep on the Achilles injuries and what way to go about it. But then he was like, look, now you're going to have to pivot and you're going to have to stop whining And I was like, I'm gonna thump this fella here. Like, and he was like, you're gonna have to stop whining, and you're gonna have to find something to focus on, or else you're gonna end up wasting months of your life, and then you're gonna be in a worse spot.
You need someone to put you in your place though as well. Like,
but he was right, because then I was like, you know what, he's 100% right, because I was mad on pushing my Olympic lifts, my jumps, my jiu-jitsu. I can't do any 3 of those. I can't even demonstrate any of them for the teams. I was just after starting doing strength and conditioning with a GA team. I can't demonstrate shit. There were so many things I can't do. And if all you're thinking about is the things you can't do, you're in a desperate state of affairs. But once you start opening up and seeing the small wee things that you can do, the things that you can't do become less at the forefront of your mind.
100%.
But going back to the reason why I brought that up, I knew we were going to go on plenty of rants. The reason why I brought it up is like when people are trying to work, they're trying to get more disciplined. What a better thing that you could do is find a fucking good reason that makes you actually want to get up out of bed on those early mornings to go up and do the work. What is an actual reason? Not like, I think weight loss, unless you're at a serious point where your weight is affecting your health, that's probably not going to be a strong enough reason alone to drive you. You need to have something else. Maybe it's your love for a sport that you used to play. Maybe that's the thing that's going to drive you back. Maybe it's, you know, getting to be able to play with your, or thinking about, I want to be able to play with my kids when they grow up and get a little bit older. I want to play football with them. Finding
your why is a big thing, and I always go through that on sales calls as well, like consultation calls. Like, why do you want to do this? Yeah, I want to get into that dress, but why do you want to do it? Like, and you have to ask that question, because then they actually start thinking about there actually is other reasons why they want to do it. And that's another thing I was going to bring up, is like when we were talking about transformations, like I think a lot of people get into fitness, like into their fitness journey for a transformation, to lose 10 kg, but then they're halfway to that goal and they realise that there's so much more benefits to training or to playing your sports or to running than just losing weight and getting that photo at the end or fitting into that wedding dress. And there is so much more benefits to it. And like the reason I got back into fitness wasn't because of to put on weight or to lose weight originally. It was actually because my mum had passed away and I needed to do something for my mental health. I was just at home feeling sad, as you do. Obviously my ma died, so but yeah, you know what I mean. So I needed to get myself out of the house to do something. I just want
to pause there. Like, people saw me laugh, they'll probably be like, he's a dick. No, but my dad died, so we were sharing, like, you know, dead parent jokes, so it's okay. Just anybody thinks I'm a dick laughing at her.
But yeah, so like my boyfriend was going to this trainer, and then he was like, just come along with me, and then I started going with him, and I did personal training with my boyfriend then, and it was great. He got me up out of bed, he got me to go, and my trainer was Steve. He's Adapt Strength on Instagram, and he was really, really good and unbelievable. I absolutely loved it. And yeah, that's what got me into it. And the more I did that, the more I thought about coaching. And then we went traveling during COVID, and I had loads of time to think about it because I wasn't working. And then I was like, fuck it, and I just booked the course, and I just did it on a whim, really, and then came back, did the course, and had a job. So that's kind of why I got into it. And I think, yeah, people get into it for the other reasons, body composition and stuff, and then they realise that it's actually really benefiting. Like, I get loads of clients coming to me, and they're like, you know, even if they're just 4 weeks into it, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe how much better I feel. I'm eating so much more vegetables. I've never eaten this many vegetables in my life. I'm drinking like 3 litres of water a day. I usually don't have a glass. And like, they're just feeling amazing mentally, physically. They have more energy, they're sleeping better, they're getting on better in work. It affects all aspects of your life. Like, it's not just about, like, it's great when you look good and you feel good in clothes. That is great. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it does feel great when you feel like better in yourself and you're going on nights out and stuff, but there's a bigger picture to it. Like,
I think those moments that you feel good about those type of things are more fleeting. Like, they're there for a little moment, but then once you have that body for a while, it's gone. It's like you buy a new car, you love that shit for a while, and then it's just your car.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas it's the habits, the behaviours that will make you continuously feel better in yourself.
Yeah, and when you're realising these things without it being like the reason you got into it in the start, and you're realising that your energy is better and stuff, that makes you keep going more than the progress picture or more than the weight you've lost. Like, the feeling you're getting from it actually keeps you going even more. Like, I've had clients who come to me who have never trained before, never played any sport, nothing, and they start training and they realise they actually love strength training. They love it, and then they start losing the weight and they start looking great in their photos. But the main thing, I get clients to do me video testimonials sometimes, and when I listen to them, I'm like, oh wow, that's amazing, because I actually didn't know all the stuff till I listened to their video testimonial, and a lot of it isn't even about the weight that they've lost. A lot of the goals that they say are like, they're all like mindset goals and mental health goals that they've hit, and like that they didn't even know they were going to hit when they came into it. And the same when they're doing like their check-in calls every month are really good. I always ask them to give me at least 3 wins for the month. And I'm like, think of anything. And then sometimes they've lost loads of weight that month, and that doesn't even come up in their goals. And then I'm like, at the end, they're all amazing goals, and don't forget you also lost 2 kg this month or whatever. And they're like, yeah. So that's not even the priority in their mind anymore after they've been training for a while, because they actually realise how much they enjoy it and how much it's affecting them in other areas of their life, which is deadly to see.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pose a question to you that is gonna be, because just at the point you are with your own training, it's probably going to make you might have to think about this for a while, but why do you train now that you mentioned why you started getting into training? Why do you train now?
Yeah, that's still one of the big reasons for me. Like, I still go in and out of depressive states. Like, obviously after you lose a parent, you have to deal with that depression. Like, it's maybe situational depression, but then it feeds into other areas of your life, and you do have to deal with it on and off as well. So I still train for those reasons, but then there's days or weeks where you get into those states and you just can't get training. You can't get out to train, but then when you start again, or you start going running, you start strength training, it helps you so much. So that is definitely probably one of the main goals. And then also now to just lift heavy and be strong as fuck, and now I have a bit of an arse as well. We'll have to throw that in there, but yeah, that, and then to look good and feel good as well. Like, it makes me feel so much better when I am training. I said to you before, earlier on, I was like, when I actually am really in the flow with my training and I'm in a routine and I'm doing it consistently, it feeds into every aspect of my life. I feel better, I'm eating better, my business is running better, I'm just doing work better. Everything is better when I feel better in my training as well. So that's where I'm trying to get myself back to. Not that I wasn't feeling good over the summer, I was enjoying my summer. I was just travelling a good bit. I volunteered at Barrettstown and stuff. So I was just on and off with my sessions. So it wasn't consistent. And I wasn't really going for like strength goals or heaviness. I was just kind of working out where I could work out. But now I'm at a phase now where I don't have much planned. So I'm looking to get back into that consistency where I'm getting stronger again, yeah.
Boom. Them chin-ups are going to get destroyed. 20 kilo chin-up coming soon.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Give it a few months.
Chin up. I'm pushing chin ups hard myself. All pull up variations. I was never good at pull ups. I was a bit overweight most of my life up until about 18, and then I started getting into the gym. But even at that, it was all bodybuilding stuff. So I actually made myself probably a wee bit heavier, but with muscle. So then I couldn't do chin ups still.
It's too hard.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go hard at the chin ups. But in terms of people like making that swap from, solely body composition goals to seeing all the other benefits to it, isn't it mad how surprised people are, like, at how much they actually want to start getting things like pull-ups, or they want that first 100 kilo deadlift, the buzz that they get as well. I think people don't see too often I don't think people in their lives get little wins like that they can actually recognise. Especially
women, like, they don't even think they're capable of even when they hit like 50 kg on the deadlift or like 30 kg on the back squat, like, even when they start moving from dumbbell squats to barbells, like, they're like, what the fuck, I'm able to do that. I'm like, yeah, you're well able to do that. But they have no idea, because they've never done anything like this before. And like, I love, like, I only train women obviously, so I can't say it for men, but like, I love seeing women get strong as fuck. And like, it makes me really happy when they see videos of themselves doing it. They're like, oh, I feel fucking great after that session, I actually hit that number or hit this. And I'm like, yeah, like, you're stronger than me, like, you're class. Like, some of my clients are flying it, like, and like, seeing them lift heavy and get stronger and how it's making them feel it's great. That's why you're in it, really. That's if you're in this industry to make loads of money, and you're not in it to actually first and foremost help people, you're just in it for the wrong reason, and you're not going to be helping many people, really, are you?
Impact over money.
Exactly, impact.
Now,
That's
we
the
do
word.
need a little bit of money just to keep ourselves going and in order to keep learning and
Of course.
topping up. But
To live.
to live as well, yeah,
Pay
especially in
rent.
fucking Ireland.
Especially in Dublin.
Yeah, well, it's nearly basically the same in the dog as it is in Dublin. But on the talk of money, well, not so much money, but business wise, you run your own business, same as I do. Is it weird running your own business? Like, if you look back maybe 3 years ago, you weren't coaching 3 years ago, wasn't it?
No, 2 years now I'm coaching.
So 3 years ago, if Chloe back then had to look forward to now, would she be like, this
Yeah,
is mad?
like I'm only did me course 2 years ago, so I'm a little bit less than 2 years coaching. Nearly at the end of summer it'll be 2 years. And 3 years ago I was managing in Nando's, and I worked there for years, and I always worked in restaurants, cafes since I left school. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was really good at that, did the job really well, got really sick of hospitality in the end, and then that's when we fucked off and went travelling. But no, I wouldn't. 3 years ago, if you asked me, was I going to be running my own business in 3 years, I would have laughed at you. Like, even now, running my own business, I'm like, what? I'm not running my own. Like, my mate, actually, Donna only said to me there in a text the other day, she asked me, I was going to add her to, like, my recipe books and, like, the members area, and then I forgot, and then she asked me again, and I was like, oh, yeah, added you there. And then she was like, oh, real professional, oh, look at you, what the fuck, running your own business and all. And I was like, yeah, I've been doing that for a while now, I don't know if you've noticed. But, yeah, it still doesn't, like, I don't know, like, you're running a business, I find it hard, there's ups and downs, like, I definitely think I'm riddled with ADHD, so that makes it a little bit harder. I procrastinate a lot. A lot of people are like, oh, you're doing so well and you're working so hard. And I am and I amn't. I feel like sometimes I'm really not. But the thing is that I'll do a lot of things in a couple of hours that should be done over a few days, basically. And I do procrastinate a good bit, but I still get a lot of work done when I do work. So I feel like, I don't know, it makes me feel like I'm not doing much, because I think I'm so used to doing the 8, 9, 10 hour shifts in a restaurant for somebody else, running someone else's restaurant. And when I was like in that restaurant and you're told to do each task and then you're telling other people to do things, it's a little bit different, because you're not just left solely to manage yourself. And I feel like it's really like, it's good and there is bad. Like it is really tough managing yourself and getting yourself up out of bed to fucking do things. Whereas when you're doing it for someone else, you're like, if I don't clock in on time, I'm not getting paid. Whereas when it's for yourself, you're like, oh, well, if I don't do it now, I can do it later or tomorrow. And the one thing that gets you up to do things is obviously calls with your clients when they're booked in. Then, you know, I have to be up for that time because I have that call booked in, and they're real good things to get you up and going. But yeah, the one thing I find hardest is managing my time, managing myself. Yeah, I like to overwhelm myself for no reason, get stressed out, and then be like, okay, I'm not going to do anything now for the whole day. But then I get loads of shit done. I usually get loads of shit done towards the end of the week because I procrastinate at the start of the week.
You would have left studying till the night before.
Oh,
exams
100%. On my leaving cert, I think I started studying a week or two before, like, and yeah, just cramming it in. I remember I was never good at things like that. Like, I remember like falling asleep at the dining room table studying, like falling asleep into the book, like just falling asleep because I was so fucking bored and uninterested in reading it. Trying to highlight things, ended up highlighting the whole page and all, you know what I mean? So like stupid things like that. Yeah, I was never like good like studying in that sense. Like I was telling you, the course I did for me personal training was really good. It's Elite Fitness Academy, and a lot of it was practical. There was theory to it as well, but sometimes the theory was in the gym as well, so you're in person, and some of it was online, but most of it was practical and you were actually learning how to coach people in a gym. And I think that's why I did so well in that course, because it was practical learning rather than full on online theory learning the whole time. So yeah, I do love the practical side of things, and I find it a lot easier to learn that way.
I think everybody learns in different ways, like, and even in terms of coaching in person, like I've learned, like early on I probably would have got annoyed at people not getting what I'm trying to say, like maybe more finer like changes, tweaks to an exercise, you know, you're like, right, this makes total sense in my head, but everybody takes in information so differently.
Yeah,
I have probably 10 different ways to say everything, every cue or every exercise a way to tweak it. I have 10 different ways because I know everybody's going to take it differently.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
or it requires differently. I think it's the same when you're studying and learning. I fucking hate studying now. I don't know what I did during secondary school, but I got good at studying from 5th year on, and then that stopped once I got to college. Probably because of all the drinking and
Smoking weed.
I actually didn't smoke weed until I finished college, which is strange. I was a late bloomer.
Definitely the drinking and the rest.
Drinking and eating snack boxes. I'd say my blood was 80% snack box and 20% beer.
Sounds healthy.
It was good buzz. Enjoyed it. Lived above a pub in where was it, near Ballymun. Where was it? Whitehall. It was in Whitehall. Lived above a pub in Whitehall. Never once went into the pub. Because you were students, you couldn't afford paying £4 a pint, you know. So Glenn's vodka.
£4.
Yeah, £4. Remember them days?
$7.50 now, probably.
Yeah, remember them days.
But yeah, I don't even know what you asked me there. Something about my business, and we went into that tangent.
Tangent FC. I was asking you about the business. Yeah.
Yes.
You mentioned some of the challenges there. I was going to ask you what the challenges but what are some of the positives? And
that's what I was going to go into next, and I actually, I just forgot what I was talking about. So they're the challenges, obviously, is managing yourself, but the positives is the freedom, right? So you do your own hours, like you can go away, you can work. Like I went traveling in June, I went to Barcelona and Portugal, and I was able to work while I was away and stuff like that. They're definitely the big positives. Another challenge is doing your own taxes, but then a positive to it is that you earn your own money. All that money is yours, except for the money you pay at the end of the year. But it's like, it's your money. You're not giving it, like, you're not taking a bit of money out of someone's business. It's what you earn is yours. And I think that's really good. Like, it's deadly. I don't know. It's mad to be, I feel like it's mad to be this age and just running your own business. Like, I don't feel like I'm running my own business, but I am. And sometimes it can be nerve-wracking. Like, if you lose a few clients, you're like, I kind of panic. I'm like, oh shit, like that's my wage, like when I lose clients. But then I'm like, oh no, it's grand, I'll build it back up. Like, what are you panicking for? Relax. Like
the earning your own money, like there's no middleman, there's nobody that's paying you the wage, there's nobody finding you the clients. You're going and doing it all yourself. You're bringing in the clients, you're serving the clients or coaching the clients in a sense, and you're getting the money for it. It's like there's nobody else there involved in the process. It's a strange thing. It almost feel at the start, whenever I started doing it, I was like, it's
like fake money almost.
Like it just doesn't feel real. Like spending
especially
money,
especially because you're not paying tax till the end of the year, so it's dangerous. Like, it's dangerous. But like you have to be smart about it and try put savings away and stuff like that, which I have done. But that's obviously a tough one, is like trying to adjust from just paying your taxes month to month to then being like, I have all this money, but being like, no, you fucking don't, because you do have to pay taxes at the end of the year. But no, the freedom in it is the main thing for me, not having to answer to anyone. As I said before though, I found it obviously easier when someone gave me tasks to do things, even when I was doing my mentorship. Like, just having that accountability there helped a lot. But it's a learning curve. Each day you learn something new about yourself. Each day you learn something new about running a business. And I think it's well worth doing a mentorship that just helps you run a business, even if you only do it for a few months. Because when you're going into this kind of thing, like when I done my course, my personal training course, I had no idea. So I left that course on Friday and I had a job on the Monday, and I had no idea when I was going into that job that it wasn't going to be hourly paid. I didn't know that, like, well, my first job was hourly paid, but I was contracted, so I didn't realise I wasn't going to be on a PAYE thing, bastards. Staff, like. So yeah, I just had to, it was grand. It kind of taught me that you have to put money away for taxes and stuff like that. But when I went to Flyfa, that's when I realised, if you don't make money, you don't make any money. You have no money. At least in the class-based gym, I was getting paid each week or whatever for the classes I did. In Flyfa, it's like you get paid for the shifts you do for them, but that pays your rent, so you have no money. Now, I did really well because I learned a lot in my first job with the classes. But then in Flyfa, like, because I did the classes pretty well, I think I had the confidence then. I wasn't just fresh. I had the confidence. I had 6 months down under my belt, like in another gym where I was learning from different coaches. So I kind of had the confidence. So I kind of built up my client base pretty fast. But I know people, like I know my mates that have gone into gyms like that, and they're really good coaches. They're coaching longer than me. Different type of coaching, like coaching football teams and stuff, coaching longer than me. And they really struggled in there because I think it was like confidence and stuff like that. And they struggled to make money. And I think that's where them gyms aren't the best. Like it's grand if you have the confidence to go in and you can make money. But if you don't have the confidence, you don't really make any fucking money, and you're working loads of hours and you're not making fucking anything, and you can't go out with your mates and you can't pay rent.
You're not learning that much either.
No, and you're not learning much either. Exactly. Most of your shifts, you do 2 classes or something, and then you're standing around for most of the shift, which I fucking hate because it's the most boring thing in the world. And you want
see
to
that walking the gym floor and trying to fucking talk to people.
It's the worst. It's honestly the worst, and I think that's something that they don't tell you. They tell you everything, all the good rainbows and all this shit when you're doing your course. But they don't tell you that you're going to be paying your own taxes. They don't tell you that if you don't make money, you don't make any fucking money. You might need a job on the side for the first while and stuff like that. And yeah, I've seen people that could be really good coaches potentially, but just don't have the confidence to get their own clients. And I think if they're going to be making you pay rent in those gyms, they should be helping you get clients. If customers, whatever you call them, members, come up to them and they're like, I'm looking for a trainer, the newbies should be the ones that get these people. Whether they buzz off them or not, they won't know until they start training them. And things like that, that's where I think it's a downfall. Like, I did really well, but I don't think everyone does well in those gyms.
No. Do you want to know how much rent I would have had to pay in the gym I first started doing PT full time in London per month?
How much?
$1,000.
That's nuts.
$1,000, and that's 3 months in. So they had this process. The first month you only pay 400, second month 800, third month 1,000.
Well, if you're only like,
and also going in, they give you the whole spiel. Which, if you're a potential PT or you're thinking about getting into PT, if you hear a gym say that they're going to give you leads, they're lying. They don't give you leads.
No.
This place said they were going to give me leads. I didn't get one lead for 2.5 months. And then they were expecting me to pay 800 quid.
When you're not making any money, like, and you're a beginner and you're starting off and you're solely on your own out there, like, you're self-employed. That's the one thing I never knew when I was going to do this course. I never knew I was going to be self-employed. I thought if you get a job and in one of those gyms, they're going to pay you by the hour and you're just going to get paid like a normal job. Now, I love that it wasn't like that because I did really well, but I just think that it doesn't work for everyone. Not everyone has the confidence to go in and get these clients and talk to people on the gym floor.
I didn't have the confidence. Whenever I started off, I sometimes when they say this to clients and stuff that I wasn't that confident talking and blah blah all that, they're like talking shite. I'm like, no, I spent maybe the first 2 weeks in that gym just like, I'd say, talk to maybe 3 or 4 people. I was just like shitting the togs, being like, what the fuck am I going to say to this person? Why would they want to get coaching off me? All the negative fucking spiral was going. So then there'd be no thoughts. I wouldn't be able to think of what to say. Eventually did get over that a little bit and got better.
The thing with the talking though, like, they tell you, like, the one thing they always told you is like, just walk around the gym floor and talk to people. Tell you now, people don't want to be fucking talked to when they have their earphones on. And I didn't do that. I mainly got my clients from classes. So at the end of the class, I would market myself. And I was really good at doing that. But see this walking through, I did that a few times and I didn't get good reactions. Like, sometimes people are just in the gym to get into their own fucking head, do their thing and get the fuck out. And they have earphones in for a reason. They don't want to be fucking talked to. They might be busy. They might only have an hour to get in and out. They don't want to talk to you. And even if they are doing something wrong, they might not want your unsolicited help that you're going over. Do you want help with that? I've got like bad reactions from people and like really angry reactions where I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to help you. It's my job. I have nothing else to do. So yeah, that's the one thing, that walking around talking to fucking members, it doesn't always work. But
they might have been talked to by multiple people during that day and they're like, fuck's sake, I just want to actually get started in my training.
Like, they don't want you stupid head coming over and being like, do you want me to show you how to do that properly? Fuck off, I'll do it whatever way I want.
Yeah.
And then, like, I do think if you are someone starting off and you do go to one of them gyms, Flyfit is really good because it has loads of workshops. So they do teach you a lot in that aspect when you start off, and they have loads of free workshops you can do throughout the year as well when you're working there. But just on the gym floor in yourself, the one thing you have to do is you really have to do your class as well, and you have to be really buzzy in your classes and confident, and you have to talk to the members at the end. You have to help them throughout the class, and that's how I got my clients. It wasn't from walking around the gym floor and helping people. People don't want to be helped. People who come to classes want to be helped. That's why they fucking come to the class. So just make sure you're showing your coaching skills off in class, and that's how you're gonna That's how you're going to get clients. But I would advise anyone new to go to someone else's gym, a semi-private group training gym, learn off the other coaches and learn how to train proper classes off a program first, and then go off on your own to a fly fit or whatever to build your own business. But I think that's why I did so well, is because I learned off other coaches first. Otherwise I wouldn't have had any confidence, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You did a course, and what? You don't know anything. You did a course, but you don't fucking know anything. Like, I was mad nervous going in. I still have imposter syndrome to this day, and you're still learning every day. You're never going to know everything in this industry. Like, that's the one thing.
Exactly. The sooner you accept that, the easier it is.
Yeah, 100%.
I think when speaking of, like, if I was to speak to my younger self or any younger PTs that are getting into it, like, the more you expose yourself to all those situations where you have to talk to people, and you know, at the end of a class you're having to market yourself, as awkward as it may be, exposing yourself to them situations, exposing yourself to talking on a podcast,
100%.
going on videos, that's the only way to get better at that. And I think if you get better at talking on videos, getting your message across in a podcast, actually being able to help somebody and create a rapport with them in person, that's the stuff that's going to get you clients.
100%.
Maybe
like,
not so much, obviously podcasts and videos less so, but they help you get better at speaking in general.
deadly. Like, even when I started, like, the mentorship, and I needed to start doing reels and all on Instagram, and I was like, scarlet, like, I'm gonna get so much stick, because like me and my mates just give each other so much stick, and I was like, I can't do that. Like, I actually can't do that. And I remember my coach, he was really good, and he was like, look, when I started doing this, I felt like a tick as well. He was like, I used to record videos over and over and over again and delete them and do it again. Once I started doing it, I did feel like a tick, and not gonna lie, still feel like a tick sometimes talking into a phone. But once you start doing it, you kind of stop giving a fuck. When it helps you grow your business and it's helping other people and you're giving free information out to people, you kind of have to just have this idea of like, I don't give a fuck what other people are thinking, and give me stick. It doesn't really matter, because I'm giving myself enough stick about it. Like,
that's a good strategy. Give yourself stick before other people do.
Yeah, 100%. Because like, that was the big thing for me at the start, is that I always felt like I looked like, if you look back on my first videos that I ever did on Instagram, which wouldn't be that long ago, 8 maybe 10 months ago or something like that, they're so awkward. Like, it's good information, but they're so fucking awkward. And if you look at my videos now, I've got so much better at like editing the video, making myself look better, being more confident in what I'm saying. But that's also just because I've learned more in that last year
By doing it.
I've learned more because I've got more clients. They've asked me more questions. I've had to be forced to learn more. Do you know what I mean? I've read more things. I've listened to more podcasts. I've followed more pages where I'm learning. Like, and like, yeah, you're never, as I said before, you're never going to know everything. So the only reason I'm more confident now is because I kept doing it, but also because I kind of know what I'm talking about now more than I did when I started doing it. I kind of was just really nervous. And again, the imposter syndrome as well. Like,
also, you have salt in the game. Like, when you're at the start and you're trying to get clients, you haven't tested out these things on people.
Yeah.
You're not actually coaching people, so by saying these things, it's not gonna means nothing, because you haven't tried and tested.
Yeah,
all
you
this
don't
shit.
have any results to show for it either. Whereas now, it's like when you're, it's a lot easier to do it now, because you're relating back to your own clients or to yourself, and like, yeah, you're not just talking about a random thing that you read in an article. You're like, no, I actually did this with a client and it worked, and now I'm going to give you this free information. And like, that's what you're talking about. So you're a little bit more confident in what you're talking about. You're not just trying to make a video because you have to start doing this because this is what you need to do to get better at it. Like,
yeah,
you're doing it for a different reason.
No, you probably would have told me that before, that you were a manager at Nando's, but I'm interested, what would have been your go-to Nando's order?
I fucking see, I hate it for so long. I have IBS and Nando's fucks me up so bad.
If you had no IBS, what would be your go-to?
I
Nando's
used to
order?
eat the spices, and when I did eat the spices, it was medium or it was lemon and herb. And I would get like, see, when you're a manager, you can eat whatever the fuck you want. When you're staff, you have a limit. Like, I don't really have a go-to. I used to kind of get like, when you be back at house, you kind of just make your own thing. Like, you'd be making burritos and all, like quesadillas and all. You'd be making your own shit, and you'd be real unhealthy stuff. You'd be getting the fried chips, then putting them on the back grill, then putting garlic butter on them, then putting cheese on them, cooking them up on the back grill, frying them up, and then eating them with your lunch. You'd feel like you're gonna have a heart attack eating the food that we'd make for ourselves. But when I do go into Nando's now, the odd time, like rarely, I'd get like a quarter chicken, peri chips, and if you're getting a quarter chicken, get a leg. Even though it's smaller, it's fucking nicer because it's not dry as fuck like the breasts. A peri chicken and halloumi, obviously, and essential, obviously, and then I don't know what other side I'd get, to be honest. Garlic bread or something. And if you're getting garlic bread, always ask for a fresh roll. Always ask for a fresh roll. They're gonna fucking, don't be saying that on the podcast, Emma.
Giving away Nando's secrets here.
Yeah, no man.
Is there a secret menu? Is there anything else we should know about Nando's?
Nah, like just when you're staff, you get sick of the food, so you just make your own food. But I went in the other day and they're doing this new thing, fucking loaded fries. Couldn't think of the word there. Loaded fries, and they were lovely, I have to say.
On them?
I don't know, can't even remember. Sauce, cheese, fries,
chicken as
well. Stuff, chicken, yeah, obviously.
Class.
Chicken's in there somewhere. And they were really nice. I have to say now my stomach was fucked after them, but they were really nice. Really, really nice. So yeah, I'd say get them. And yeah, I wouldn't be mad into like their traditional wraps if I was making myself a wrap in there. Yeah, but I don't really like other people making me wraps in there because they're shy.
I like the Sunset Burger.
Sunset Burger
too. And I got some of the chili jam. You can buy it in the shop now.
Chili jam's lovely, and Sunset Burger is really nice if the thighs are cooked properly. Like if they're crispy. It's probably one of the tastiest things on the menu because of the sunset, because of the, what you call the stuff, the jam, whatever it's called, chili jam.
Chili jam.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Peri salt though, fucking lovely.
Oh, peri salt, man.
But no, not a huge Nando's fan, and when I do eat it, my stomach's in bits. Even if I get everything plain, my stomach's still in bits. But I think it's just because I ate it for so long. Great thing about Nando's is that your lunch is free. You get paid for your lunch. Well, when I was there, you get paid for your lunch, and your lunch is free.
Fucking miss free lunches and working in hotels and fucking restaurants. That's one of the positives to the many negatives of fucking working in that game.
Yeah, but a lot of places don't give their staff free lunch. Like,
but you need to be able to talk your way into the
shops. But like in Nando's, yeah, staff get free lunch, and that was a really good thing, like, because you're in there for a long shift.
Couldn't bulk and you working in Nando's.
No man, I sessioned a lot when I worked in Nando's. There was no bulking happening. I wasn't training or anything, but I was I started training towards the last year of me working there. That was when my ma passed away and stuff, but I was always on my feet, so God knows how many steps you're doing when you're in there, and then you're always going out sessioning after, going out to town, and like you're always drinking and all, like I wouldn't be bulking while I was in there anyways. Let's just say that.
I have a final piece to kind of wrap this bad boy up. This has gone for an hour already, you'd be surprised to hear. There you go.
Fair enough.
Now going to do a game of this or that. Now you can go into further details of this, so you can just give the answer whatever you feel like. I know, but actually you had a coffee earlier, so maybe this one won't be as strong, because I mentioned because the IBS that you mentioned, I thought coffee might be a no for you, but you seem to drink a bit of coffee. So
no, it's actually alright. It's actually okay.
Now, so this one's not going to be that good then. Coffee or cheese, if you didn't have any effects.
Well, I actually don't know. Like, yeah, see, I have effects with cheese, but I love cheese all day.
Yeah,
I could live without coffee. I don't drink it every day.
Yeah.
Nah, don't. I used to when I was working in the gym, like flat out on caffeine, Monster and all. Don't drink any Monster cans. Have about 3 coffees a week. So it's grand. Cheese, I love.
Yeah. Oh fuck, man, I love cheese. Love cheese.
Can't live without pizza, so. Can live without coffee, but can't live without pizza.
We were in Macara earlier for a pint. We didn't get to try the pizzas, but holy fuck, I had one of them, well, 2 of them early the other day. It was fucking.
They sound immense. A bit mad, by the way. Chicken curry and all on a pizza.
Don't doubt the singly. Our man behind the camera is wearing the
most
jersey.
Irish pizza you're gonna get. Chicken curry on a fucking pizza.
Yeah, the most Irish. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it?
Curry it does sound ridiculous, but it's probably Irish curry. It's probably not like, what was it?
Oh, he just pointed the singly in his t-shirt.
I was like, he's distracting me over there. I'm like, what the fuck's he saying?
Singly, it's straight from Dundalk. Okay, right. Rower or treadmill?
Rower or treadmill? Rower all day. Fuck the treadmill.
And you that loves running.
Yeah, but like not on a treadmill. I've done it. I've only. Do you want to know something funny? First time I went on a treadmill, when do you think it was?
A few months ago.
June, Barcelona. I went on the treadmill because it's too hot to run outside. Never been on one before. Worked in a gym, never went on a treadmill. Oh, do you know what? Funniest thing, I was afraid that if I went to treadmill, I was gonna fucking snap myself. So I was like, I'm never fucking going on wood.
What, you thought you would just snap or
I
fall
thought
off?
I'd just fall off. Because that's something that I'd fucking do. But then I was away and it's just too hot to run. In June, it was too hot to run. And I was like, fuck it, I want to do a bit of running after me training. So I did it on a treadmill a few times while I was there, 3 times actually. But yeah, I don't really do treadmills that much.
Don't like them. I don't mind the assault runner. Do you ever see one of them?
Yeah,
It's the
I actually
curve
haven't
one.
used that yet. They're cool. But I do, the rower is fucking hard, but I'd prefer that over the treadmill, yeah. I've used it more times anyways.
Barbells or kettlebells?
I love a kettlebell.
I know you do.
Because you can do more at home if you have kettlebells.
Okay.
You can do a lot with kettlebells. You could have a couple of kettlebells and you can do loads of shit that it still feels hard even if they're only 212. So
True. We were doing some earlier Turkish get-ups.
yeah, barbell you need to buy loads of different weights just to make it a little bit heavier, whereas kettlebells is a little bit different. So kettlebells more versatile.
Barbell Turkish get-ups almost break your wrist as well.
Yeah.
So
And what would you prefer?
you don't need to ask me that. Barbells.
Yeah, I knew you'd
All
say that.
day, all day. Too light for me, them kettlebells.
To get a heavy one then.
I haven't seen too many places with 30 or 40 kilo
You
plus
want to go to
kettlebells.
Steve's? You want to go to Steve's gym then?
Yeah, does he
You
have
know,
heaps of them?
Yeah, like he's
That's a shout.
kettlebell strong first trainer, so he's loads of kettlebells.
Alright, boom. Training on your own or training with others?
Most of the time I train on my own, but I do have to crack training with others. But when you're in a rush on your own, when you're not in a rush with others, I can't choose. It's good crack training with other people, but sometimes you just want to get in and out, and it's too hard to do that when you're with people.
I think you have to find the right people as well. I haven't had a training partner in years that I've actually gone with consistently for similar reasons as that. Like,
Yeah, no, I just also wouldn't have people at the same that are off the same times as me as I go. Like, but that sentence that sentence made no sense. Anyways, go on.
sure, look. Upper body or lower body?
Lower body
Yeah.
all day.
Type you. Typical girl. Just pick lower body.
I do train upper body and I like upper body, but I prefer lower body all day.
Yeah. It's always the same. Always the same. Actually, there's one. I think there's one girl in the lifting club who always chooses upper body, and because at the end of a session, I usually give them a choice. You know the way in True Coach, I would have had like D1 or D2. You make a choice. It'd always be lower body. Always. Unless we were doing crazy amounts of lower body in that session. Just one girl always upper body, please.
Yeah, no. Lower body.
Now this one might be a no-go because of the IBS, but if you were to have a protein shake every day or a protein bar every day, what would you take?
Don't really eat protein bars, and the only protein shakes I drink are the ASAP vegan ones, and the chocolate ones are lovely, so protein shakes all day.
Boom shaka.
But I don't drink like whey protein or anything. It's sick. It would make me die. Literally. I've gone there, been there, done that, don't want to do it again.
Fair. Right. Got a few other ones here. Right. Abby Koulibaly or Gemma Dunleavy?
Say that name again.
I'm probably saying it desperately wrong, am I?
Abby Koulibaly.
Babby.
No,
Bally.
Abby Koulibaly.
Yeah, fuck. Autocorrect, fuck me. Huh?
They're both class, and I'm gonna have to go with Abby. But they are both class, and I've seen Gemma Dunleavy perform I don't know how many times. But I have to go with Abby. You have to give Abby that one.
Yeah, I'd probably go the same. Only wear Seeking Judy every day, or never listen to C Matt again.
Oh, Megan.
And you can never wear Seeking Judy ever.
Oh, fuck.
Forget if Megan wasn't your friend.
Well, Megan's my good friend, so, you know, I'm going to have to go with her thing. But
It's a cop out.
I do love Seema, and she's unbelievable, but I'll go with Megan because I love her.
Fair play, right? I think that's a good enough one to cap it off with. But where?
Boom.
Boom. Instagram at Chloe Shah.
Oh, yeah. Chloe Shah Fitness.
Chloe Shah Fitness.
Instagram at Chloe Shah. Yeah, that's my name.
I'm supposed to be good at these.
No, Chloe Shah Fitness.
exits.
Follow me there if you want to listen to me talk more. Shy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You definitely should watch. She's very good, especially if you are looking to get better with your relationship with food, as we mentioned earlier. Get strong as fuck. She knows the crack. Go follow her. Follow the podcast. We are done. Lally, take us home.